Good morning, friends. It's great to have you back. Let's begin. Good morning, good morning. Hello, and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. All right, we are going to do a little bit of a shorter lesson today, and I have a special book for you. And I also wanted to do a special lesson on the months of the year because, as you can see, if you look at our calendar, all of the numbers are gone because May is over. Remember, let me find it in here. We had May up for a long time, and May is all done. So I have a new month up, and it is June. And it is June 1st, number 1. So we're starting a brand new month. And the reason, there, we'll put it up under Monday, that I wanted to go over that in all of the months is because I wanted to give you an idea of how long it will be until you start school in the fall. So on Wednesday will be our last lesson that we will have, and then you will be off for the summer. So I thought if we reviewed the months of the year, it will give you a better idea of how long it will be until you will start school again. So let's sing a little song about the months of the year, and you will see all of them and how many there are. January, February, March, and April, May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. So like I said, we just finished May, and now we are in June. You know how long it took to get through May. It seemed like a long time, didn't it? And now we need to get through June, and then you will get through, let me pull them up here, all of July. That's when we have the 4th of July and the fireworks. That's a lot of fun to watch the fireworks. And then you have most of August to get through. When we get toward the end of August, that's when we're planning on coming back to school. And that's when we'll see you again, hopefully. All right, so, and then September, you see all the school things on September because we used to start school in September. But this time, we're starting in August. So in August, we will be back. Until then, you get to do lots and lots of fun things at home. I hope that you have lots of neat things to do over the summer. Playing outside. One of my favorite things is swimming in the pool. Maybe catching lightning bugs at night. Those are all a lot of fun things to do. A book that I picked today is called The Bubble Factory, because when my kids were little, I used to make bubbles and put them in a great big bucket, and we had great big round wands, and we would dip the wands in the bucket and make giant bubbles. We would leave the bubbles in the garage, and then whenever we went out to play, we could just get out the wands and make big bubbles. So you can look up recipes online, or if your mommies and daddies want to text or email me, I will give them some really cool recipes for bubbles. But I thought this would be a fun book to do since we are getting ready for summer. It's called The Bubble Factory by Tommy de Paola. There we go. Sam and Molly were always getting into things. They were always getting into trouble. Sam and Molly were twins, and Grandpa was always getting them out. Here you see, oh my goodness, they're making a mess with the popcorn, and they got their kite stuck in the tree, and they got their skis stuck in the snow. Here they're fighting over some of the toys. That happens sometimes. But Grandpa always made things okay. He helped get the popcorn cleaned up, and he helped get the kite out of the tree, and he helped get them out of the snow, and he read them stories and helped them get along and solve their problems. So one day, he handed the twins jars of bubbles to keep them out of trouble. Double bubbles, they were called, because with each wave of the double wand, out came not one, but two bubbles. They were double bubbles. Perfect for twins, Grandpa said, and made right here in town at the bubble factory where I used to work. The bubble factory? The twins said at the same time. Would you take us there today? They want Grandpa to take them to the bubble factory. I wonder if he'll do that, you think? I bet. So off they went. Before long, they turned down a winding road, and there it was. It looked like any ordinary factory except for what was coming out of the chimney. Bubbles! Lots and lots of bouncy bubbles in every color you can imagine. Sam and Molly couldn't wait to go inside. See all the bubbles coming out? Grandpa introduced them to Mr. B, the head bubble maker, who was just as round as a bubble himself. I'm going to show you exactly how bubbles are made, Mr. B told the twins. That's a pretty cool name, Mr. B, for bubbles. The first stop was the great bubble machine, a maze of wheels and gears and levers and pulleys. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look interesting? Looks fun. Jar after jar popped onto a belt. Mechanical arms moved up and down, placing a wand in each one of them, filling and capping them. There's a lot going on in that bubble factory. They all have their hats on too. Wear those when you're in the factory. Now they visited the bubble bathery. Here, all those B words. Here, new kinds of bubble baths were being tested in this big bathtub by a bubble meter. Down the hall was a bubble boutique with really fancy bubbles floating everywhere, polka dotted ones, striped ones, even bubbles with your name on them. Wow, they make so many cool bubbles. In the bubble gummery next door, brand new bubble gum was being invented. Whistling bubble gum, non-popping bubble gum, and bubble gum that did the chewing for you. Mechanical heads were testing blowing bubbles. One had paint and glue all over its metal face. They were making bubble gum. The last stop was the bubble lab. This was the place where the bubbles of the future were invented. Bubbles which had started out as only an idea in someone's head. Can we see them? The twins asked. Mr. B shook his head. Sorry, but it's too soon. They're not ready yet. Just then, bubble worker came to get Mr. B. Mr. B, you're expected at the 11 o'clock bubble board meeting. Come with me, Mr. B said to Grandpa. Everyone will want to see you. So he says, come on, you used to work here. Come with me to the board meeting. Grandpa looked at the twins. If I go, will you two stay out of trouble? No. The twins nodded. So Mr. B led them out into the hallway and sat them on a bubble bench. Stay right here until I get back, Grandpa told them. I won't be long. You think they're going to stay on the bench? I don't think so. Sam and Molly meant to do exactly what Grandpa said, but Mr. B had left the door to the bubble lab open. Door to the lab was open, so they thought, oh, we might as well check it out. So quicker than it takes a bubble to pop, they were inside again. Sam took one jar, Molly took another, and they looked at each other. Let's try them, they said together, and they went back to the bubble machine. I wonder what they're going to do. All the bubble workers were at the meeting. The bubble machine was turned off. I see the on button, Sam said. They both reached for it and pushed. The machine gave a giant blob. And now, what do we do? Sam asked. Molly pointed to a large funnel with a sign on it that said, pour here. They're going to pour in their bubbles or their mixture. See what happens. But Sam and Molly kept hoping. Then suddenly Bubbles, I messed a part. So they did a little from Sam's jar A and a little from Molly's jar B. And at first, nothing happened. So they each poured in a little of their mixture. But Sam and Molly kept hoping, and then suddenly bubbles by the billions came whooshing out of the machine. My goodness, look at all those bubbles. Oh, look what's happening to the bubbles, said Molly. Wow, said Sam. It's all of our wishes come true. They're wishing for things like the horse and all of those things. They're wishing for them, and it's coming true. They're wishing bubbles. Ooh, look at all that. Wouldn't that be cool if you could just wish something and all of a sudden it appeared? That's what those bubbles did. The twins could not believe their eyes. What did we do? Molly asked. I don't know, but let's do it again, Sam said. They were just about to pour in more from jar A and from jar B when Grandpa and Mr. B came running in. Uh-oh, you think they're going to be in trouble? Oh, no. What's going on here, Mr. B asked. We just saw a bubble rocket coming out of the chimney. Bubble rocket out of the chimney. Sam and Molly looked at each other. I'm sorry, Molly said. We didn't mean to make such a mess. Sam nodded. I wish there were some way for us to clean it up. No sooner than done. All he says is, I wish we had a way to clean it up. And guess what? We're wishing bubbles, remember. One out of the bubble machine came a cleanup squad of vacuum cleaners, brooms, dustpans, and mops. They all went to work. So he wished for it to be cleaned up, and it was. In a flash, everything was back as it had been before. Grandpa and Mr. B stood with their mouths open. This is amazing, cried Mr. B. No one has ever made bubbles like this before. What did you do? He says, how did you do this? This is so cool. I don't think he's mad. I think he's happy. Sam and Molly showed Mr. B the bottles. It's easy. All you do is put in some of jar A and some of jar B, and then your wishes come true. You've made wish bubbles, said Grandpa. We've been trying to do that for years, said Mr. B. We need you around here. Will you come back? Who knows what else you'll dream up. So they're invited back to make new inventions. This was fine with Sam and Molly. When it was time to leave, they got a big send-off. See all the workers saying bye and all the bubbles. And a ride home in Mr. B's bubble mobile. All the bubbles are coming out of his bubble mobile. That night, after Grandpa kissed them each goodnight, they felt something under their pillows, bubble jars with a note from Mr. B. And the note said, Memo from Mr. B. Thank you for the wonderful wish bubbles and sweet dreams, Mr. B. They made friends. They're going to help Mr. B out by making some more inventions with bubbles. I thought you might enjoy that because bubbles are a fun thing to play with in the summer. There's lots of fun things for you to do. I will miss you this summer, but I'm sure you will have a wonderful time. So I will be back one more time on Wednesday, and we will have our last little lesson, and then it will be off for the summer. Ready for our goodbye song? It is time to say goodbye to all our friends. It is time to say goodbye to all our friends. It is time to say goodbye. It is time to say goodbye. It is time to say goodbye to all our friends. Bye, friends. Have a wonderful day.